Alright everybody, put your talons together for the bird, the myth, the legend, the bald eagle, the symbol of American freedom, the majestic creature that graces our coins and our hearts. But let's take a closer look, shall we? Majestic, right? Soaring through the skies, wind in their feathers, symbol of freedom. They look like they own the sky, gliding effortlessly over mountains and rivers. It's like watching a living symbol of power and grace. Yeah, not so much, let's be real folks. Being a bald eagle is about as glamorous as a trip to the DMV. Sure, they have their moments of glory, but most of the time, it's a lot less majestic and a lot more majestic. Don't get me wrong, they're strong, they're big, they're kind of balding. Those white feathers might look regal from a distance, but up close, it's a different story. They spend a lot of time preening and trying to keep those feathers in check. Yeah, not exactly the hottest look on Tinder, trust me. Turns out being on the front of money doesn't pay the bills, am I right? These birds have to work hard to survive, and it's not always a pretty sight. These guys spend most of their days hunting for food, fighting off competition, and trying to find a decent place to crash. It's a tough life out there in the wild. They have to be constantly on the lookout for their next meal and defend their territory from other birds. It's basically the bird equivalent of trying to find a parking spot in Manhattan on a Saturday night. Imagine circling around, looking for that perfect spot, only to have it snatched away at the last second. That's the daily grind for a bald eagle. So much for that whole king of the skies thing. They might look impressive from afar, but up close it's a different story. They're just trying to get by, one day at a time, just like the rest of us. So next time you see a bald eagle, give it a little nod of respect. It's not easy being majestic. Let's talk about the glamorous life of a bald eagle diet, shall we? Fish, mostly. Sounds great, right? You might imagine these majestic birds soaring through the skies, diving gracefully into the water, and emerging with a fresh catch every time. But the reality is far less picturesque. Fresh sushi all day long? Well, not quite. Sure, they do catch fish, and when they do, it's a sight to behold. But that's just a small part of their daily struggle. More often than not, it's a battle for survival. Nope, more like fighting seagulls for scraps. These birds have to fend off pesky seagulls that are just as hungry and just as determined. Or, get this, stealing from ospreys. Talk about embarrassing. Imagine the effort it takes to chase down another bird mid-air just to snatch away its hard-earned meal. Imagine going to a fancy restaurant, ordering a gourmet meal, and then some dude in a Hawaiian shirt swoops in and steals your plate. That's the bald eagle's reality, day in and day out. That's life as a bald eagle, my friends. It's not all soaring majestically and catching fish with ease. It's a constant hustle, a daily grind. And don't even get me started on the leftovers. When the fresh catch isn't available, they have to make do with what's left behind. Ever tried eating a half-eaten days-old fish? It's not exactly appetizing, but sometimes that's all they have. Yeah, not exactly Michelin star dining. So next time you see a bald eagle, remember the struggle behind that majestic facade. It's a tough world out there, even for the kings of the sky. So, you think finding a mate is tough? Try being a bald eagle. Forget romantic dinners and moonlit walks on the beach. We're talking about mid-air battles. These lovebirds literally lock talons and spiral towards the ground in a twisted embrace of love. Or maybe just territorial aggression. It's hard to tell sometimes. And if they do manage to find a mate, building a nest is no picnic either. Imagine trying to assemble IKEA furniture on top of a tree, in a hurricane. That's basically what these guys go through. Section 4, Home Sweet Home, more like a twiggy treetop nightmare. Speaking of nests, have you ever seen a bald eagle's home? It's like a 5-star hotel built by a toddler with a bunch of twigs and leaves. Drafty, messy, and about as comfortable as a park bench. And don't get me started on the neighbors. Imagine living next to a family of screaming kids 24/7. That's what it's like dealing with those noisy eaglets. No wonder these poor bald eagles are always losing their feathers. Stress shedding, I tell ya. Section 5. So, you still want to be a bald eagle? So, there you have it. The not-so-glamorous truth about being a bald eagle. While they may look majestic and powerful, life as a bald eagle is far from easy. These birds face numerous challenges every day just to survive. It's not all soaring through the skies and looking majestic. Sure, they have those moments of grace and beauty, but those are just fleeting glimpses of their daily grind. It's more like fighting seagulls for scraps, battling for a mate, and living in a twiggy treetop nightmare. Imagine having to constantly defend your territory and food from other birds, all while trying to raise your young in a precarious nest. Next time you see a picture of a majestic bald eagle, just remember, they're probably just thinking about their next meal, their messy nest, and how much they wish they had thumbs to order takeout. Their lives are a constant struggle for survival, and every day brings new challenges. Despite all these hardships, bald eagles are resilient and resourceful creatures. They have adapted to their environment and continue to thrive despite the odds. Their strength and determination are truly admirable. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's hear your best bald eagle jokes. And remember, the next time you see a bald eagle soaring high, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey they endure